Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Co-op Podcast, episode 139. I'm your host, Richard Bailey Jr., and today I'm joined by Mr. Gary A. Swaby. What's up, Gary?
What's up, man? Good to be back again.
Yes, we're also joined by Mr. Jake James Lugo. What's up, Mr. Lugo?
Not much. How you guys holding up?
Doing pretty good. And of course, we are joined by Mr. Anthony Frasier. What's up?
What's up? What's up, man? Just chilling. Planning out a conference, So I'm happy to be talking about video games. Provides a nice little break from everything else.
Yes, definitely.
It's always a pleasure to have you back on, man.
Always.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So, first and foremost, I'm going to, of course, before we get into the topics, ask what everybody has been playing. How about you go first?
Yeah, you might as well start with me, man, because I ain't been playing shit. So let me just start it off. That way, the momentum can keep building from here.
I got you. It's all good.
Nah, man, I've been chilling, man. Of course, I didn't have a chance to play much. I mean, of course, I played NBA 2K16. The story mode in that game is I liked it. It was a little bit extra. It was a little bit extra. Spike Lee did the story. It was a little bit extra, but you know what, yo? It was like whatever. Like the last scene in the whole game was very long, a little bit too long. But I like the story mode. I think next time, I think it was a very great introduction to story modes for sports games.
Mm-hmm.
That made me want more. Like I actually think like the next NBA 2K, they need to bring Spike back and make a longer story mode. Even if they don't bring Spike back, at least make a longer story mode, one that stretches over maybe 1 or 2 seasons rather than just the preseason.
Mm-hmm.
In the first season, I think the story mode needs to be longer, but I like that. The other thing I've been doing is just working and watching Netflix. That's it, man. So I done cleared out 3 different shows and 3 different seasons on Netflix, man. Just binge watching while I work, and so I've been enjoying some of the stuff I've been watching, man. No doubt, man. So some standout titles, of course. I like this show called Dark Matter. I think that was really good, and I think everybody needs to watch that. It's sort of like Mass Effect, man. Like every time I watch that show, it was like it's what Mass Effect would be if it was a live action show.
That sounds interesting.
Word, check it out. It's called Dark Matter. It's really fucking dope. And then the other joint I'm looking forward to is the Jessica Jones joint, of course. And so I'm just waiting out.
Can't wait for that.
Word, waiting for that. That's it, man. That's it for me.
So wait, no Netflix and chill?
Nah, man. Netflix and work for me. No Netflix and chill for me, man. I'm sort of on a no girlfriend, type of thing now, man. No chicks, no nothing, man. I'm just all about my focus, all about grinding right now for me, man. And so I made it's intentional. It's not that I can't. It's not that I can't. We get a little too deep right now, like video game podcast. Hold up. We're going a little deep. We'll do that in the extra credits, whatever the episode is. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Mac Lessons Koalition.
So, how about you go next, Gary? What have you been playing?
Oh man, I was playing the Nathan Drake collection. Of course, I reviewed it. I managed to get like right near the end on Uncharted 2, but then I got Assassin's Creed Syndicate. So, of course, I started playing that because I've been anticipating that game. So, yeah, I'm like 4 hours into that game or so, and I'm loving it so far. It's great seeing the early 1900s version of London, especially when there's like a lot of areas that I actually recognize as well. So seeing a past version of it is like really great to see, like in the Assassin's Creed world. And story-wise, it's a lot better than last year so far from what I've played. My only gripe is the characters are a bit, what's the word? They're a bit like their personalities are too predictable. Like, because you've got the female and the man, and like the man is like immature, but he's really aggressive and everything. Like he's like the stronger, the alpha male, if you will. And then the woman is like more calculated, sophisticated. She's more stealthy and everything. So like, characters are a little bit generic, and there's not really much. They don't really focus on their chemistry much as brother and sister. It's just kind of, oh, he does this, she does this, and yeah, I mean, hopefully that improves later on in the story, because like I said, I'm only 4 hours in. But from what I've been hearing, it's like that throughout the game, where there's nothing really exciting between them, because you could have a lot of great scenarios having a brother and sister, like twins and everything. You could really focus on that bond and make some crazy stuff happen in the story with that bond. But from what I'm hearing, nothing really happens with it. So that's like, my biggest concern. But there is something I heard happens in the game that I'm very excited about. So I'm waiting till I get to that point. It's actually pretty big, what happens. It's like a big secret, but you can read about it online. So I've heard whispers of what happens. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. And I would also like to say that this is a better Batman game than Batman Arkham Knight, because it's got a grappling hook, and it allows you to, like, you can basically shoot up buildings and stuff, and you can get between buildings by zip lining across them. And like, I feel like that the mechanic is way better than it is in Batman. So I'm impressed with that as well. But yeah, that's all I've been playing.
You probably gonna get some comments about the Batman comparison. So, man, I cannot wait till the end of the year, game of the year discussion, because I got a lot to say about Batman. But we'll see. How about you, Mr. Lugo? What have you been playing?
Well, I've actually been playing a lot. I mean, there's been a bunch of different games that have been coming my way that I've been playing through and just doing a bunch of stuff with. Number one, I finished up Kingdom, which is a game on PC on Steam, which I happen to write the guide for IGN. You could find a review of the game over on the Koalition now. I ended up giving the game a 79, but go check out the full review for the actual in-depth look of why I gave it that score. It's pretty interesting. A neat little game that started up on a Kickstarter that is doing some pretty interesting stuff, especially if you're into strategy games. It really has a minimalist approach to that type of genre. Besides that, I've also been playing Yoshi's Woolly World. I actually got that game from Nintendo not too long ago. You could definitely expect a review of that game on the website real soon. I've just want to play a little bit more of it before I pass final judgment on it. Interesting game, very cute. I ended up getting one of the Yoshi Yarn amiibos to actually use with the game, and it's had some interesting moments. So I'm going to have a lot to say about that game very soon. Besides that, I've also been playing Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain. Finally, I finally got myself a copy of that game, and I'm really thoroughly enjoying what I'm seeing thus far. A lot of stuff been going on with that game. I'm going to have a lot more to say about that game in the nearby future, especially when we get into talks about Game of the Year. I think that's really a game that's definitely noteworthy with a lot of stuff that it's done outside of all the drama and all the different stuff between Konami and Kojima, and also outside of the story specifically for the Metal Gear storyline. I think there's a lot of other stuff that needs to be discussed about that game. But besides that, that's really what I've been playing. I'm hopefully going to be picking up a couple new games very, very soon. Hopefully a couple new reviews for you guys. A lot of good stuff happening this year. A great start to the fourth quarter of the year.
I agree. Sounds good. So unless you've been living under a rock, you would know that I've been playing Halo 5 Guardians. I actually streamed it yesterday, the first 3 missions in the campaign. By the time this episode goes up, you will see a review in progress on the website. Now, I just want to explain why it's a review in progress. As press, we were given access to 2 multiplayer modes, but we were also told that there are 10 other modes that are launching on launch day. So rather than write a review and give a score based on only a small portion of the multiplayer. I'd rather write the full review and release that later on this upcoming week. So don't worry, there will be a review this week. What I can say, though, of the campaign that I have played so far, I do know a lot of people have assumed that this is going to be an amazing campaign. I can tell you right now, after having played a lot of first-person shooters that have stories, this story has a lot of issues. I cannot give you any specific details on plots because, you know, that is part of the agreement with the early review copy. I can't talk about any of the spoilers. But don't worry, I will have something shortly after the review drops, which gives full reasoning as to why I had issues with the story. But with that said, if you're a Halo fan, you're going to buy this game anyway, no matter what. But if I was to just base this review off of the story alone, I would say I don't think this is a day one purchase, only because there's a lot of issues with the story that I have that I think some people are definitely going to also have with it as well. But I'll get into more about that soon. Just stay tuned for the review in progress tomorrow, which we'll talk about a few things, and then we'll give more and more information shortly after we drop the review later this week. But if you're a Halo fan, I think that you'll enjoy it. But if you're a die-hard fan, I just don't know. We'll talk about it more. But that's pretty much all I've been playing. So we're going to jump right into the main topics now because there's a couple things that happened this week that I think we definitely want to address. Right off the top, I would like to address the Throwdown because I did see their last show. They made a comment about a show we had in which we asked the question, will Forza 5 chart on NPDs? I want to make it clear, we asked the question. We never said, I never gave an answer and said yes or no. Michael A. said no, it will not, and then Gary said it will be in the top 5. So here we are, the NPDs have dropped. First and foremost, as far as hardware is concerned, PS4 outsold Xbox One. That's not a surprise. It shouldn't be a surprise at this point. But the surprise is the actual games that charted on NPD. Starting at, of course, we'll start at number 10 was Minecraft again, a game that was always on NPD for some reason. I don't know who keeps buying this game, but it is what it is. Number 9 was NHL 16. Number 8 was Mad Max, a game that I thought was pretty good, pretty decent. It's not a perfect game, but it also came out the same day as Metal Gear, which is surprising because of the fact that it wasn't on there. But that was number 8. Number 7, Disney Infinity 3.0, a game that JJ reviewed and we got some recognition behind. So glad to see that's on the list. Number 6, Super Mario Maker. Not surprised by this because a lot of people were looking forward to this game. This is one of Nintendo's biggest games so far this year. I want to say their only game, but I have no idea what else they have coming out this year.
Definitely not true. They have multiple games, but this is one of their most ambitious for this year.
Okay, I'll take that. Sounds good to me. Okay, number 5, Destiny: The Taken King. Now I know a lot of people, picked up the expansion. There were some people that picked up the PS4 Destiny bundle, which is a very nice console, by the way, but that was number 5. I thought that was going to be a little bit higher, but again, it's an expansion, so I guess 5 is okay. Number 4 was FIFA 16. Not surprising. That's a very popular franchise, and it did well. Now, here is where it gets a little interesting. Number 3, Metal Gear Solid 5. Now, let me just say this. This is a game that came out the September 1st. Okay, so I had imagined this was going to be number 1 because it came out the first. It has had more than enough time to sell more than enough copies, but it's number 3, which I'm surprised about. Number 2, Madden NFL 16. Not surprising. The NFL season is here, so I'm not surprised that that's on the list. That high on the list. But number 1, and number 1 definitely is a surprise, NBA 2K16. This game, as Anthony has already said, the story mode is you definitely want more of the story mode and more story modes of sports games in general after you play this. The game is fantastic. Outside the story mode, I haven't really found any issues with the game, aside from maybe I'm having issues with the online because I can't always connect to a matchup. But for what it's worth, I think 2K did a phenomenal job. I just was surprised this would be #1 because I was for sure. I mean, this came out on the 29th. For those that pre-ordered it, they got it on September 25th. But this came out on the 29th, and only had a couple days, so I'm just surprised that it is that high on the list. But with that said, what do you guys think of some of the picks on this list? Any thoughts?
Do we know like how much, like how far behind was Forza? I want to know, like,
Well,
was it in 11th place or something?
well, here's the thing. That's a very good question. I've only seen the top 10. I think they only released the top 10, and they do not release digital sales, which I find to be very interesting because I know a lot of people pre-ordered Forza. You know, they pre-ordered so they could play it early. A lot of these games were bought digitally, but again, it's important to note that all the stuff on NPD is only physical copies. Now, I will be very interested to see if it was digital included as well, because I'm sure if it was digital, there probably will be some rearranging with some stuff on this list. But I don't know how far behind it is, but how do you feel, Gary? Because you said it was going to be in the top 5.
Yeah, I mean, hey, I was wrong. You know, sometimes you're wrong when you make these predictions. So I was wrong. Unfortunately, you know, not enough people bought Forza. Instead, they'd rather play, you know, Mad Max and Minecraft. So nothing wrong with those games, of course. But you know, I kind of feel like Forza should have been on there, just because I'm like impressed how they always manage to put out a quality title every year in the Forza series, and they're able to maintain quality to the point where, you know, it feels fresh each time. So I'm impressed that they do such a great job with that game. But
Yeah. Well,
I mean, there's a lot. There was a lot of stuff that came out, so I guess it's understandable.
Well, this raises a lot of questions about what could happen, you know, after this. You know, I know that Nathan Drake Collection came out this month. I will be surprised if that's not charting next month because of the fact that that game came out and they claimed that 80% of people who own a PlayStation 4 never played any Nathan Drake game, which I don't really know if I believe that. But I would be surprised if that didn't chart. Now, if it charts higher than Halo 5, that would be very interesting.
Yeah. What's up?
Yes.
What's up? Look, man. I love Tony, man. I love Tony, but I got Tony quoted saying the Xbox is trash. All right, so listen. I just quoted that. I saved it. Listen, man. I don't know. I mean, I haven't listened to the Throwdown this month or last month, but I've been so tied in. But the last time I listened to the Throwdown, man, it was a heavily favored. Look, they're gonna come at my neck for this, man. It's all good. It's a heavily favored PlayStation, podcast, man. And so, I mean, if I had the chance to shit on one of Microsoft's exclusives, if I don't even fuck with the system, then I'll do that too. You know what I mean? With that being said, there is some truth to what they say. You know what I mean? Because Microsoft is trying to do this thing with Forza that Madden, like it's Madden or some shit. Like this is the problem with these games that's coming out. And I don't want to go too far into this point because I know JJ hasn't said his point, but I'm really sick of these games coming out like consistent franchises, like they McDonald's or some shit. Like you could just keep pushing these things out. Personally, I think something like Forza don't need to come out every year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I think the fact that Forza 6 came out so quick is bad. Like, yeah, the first Forza came out with the launch, but they should have waited a little longer, I think, personally. You know what I mean? I don't feel like a new Forza was needed. Like I don't feel like, I needed this. Like this is not like who wanted it. You feel me? Like you gotta give people time to want shit. And with that being said, Ubisoft need to quit that shit with Assassin's Creed, man.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Oh man, Assassin's Creed does a great job with Assassin's Creed, I think.
Yo, man, yo, look, that's why I said I'm gonna be controversial today, man. I'm gonna be controversial, yo. Like, Assassin's Creed ain't Madden, man.
Yeah.
Stop treating that shit like it's NBA 2K coming out with one like every damn year, man. Like, I'm sick of, yo. I literally, like, I think I said this on a past podcast, yo, but I lost count. Like, yo,
A lot of people have actually.
Yo, I walked into the library the other day, and they had the they had games you can rent out. You can rent video games from the library now, off a library card. So I went over there. I was like, I wonder what they got, right? And I saw Assassin's Creed this and that. I'm like, well, which one is the latest one? Like, I have no clue. I have no clue. It's like 3, 4 titles in there. Like, and they start, it's like which one? Like, this is getting ridiculous, man. Like, I don't know, man. That's just me. That's my little rant, man. That's it.
Yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to them like taking a break like 1 year because I know that if they did that, the next game would be so much better if they did that. But I feel like of all the games that come out yearly, I feel like Assassin's Creed has been the one that always manages to maintain the quality. I know last year they kind of had a fail with the bugs and everything, but for the most part, if you look at all of the games consistently, like they do a great job year to year creating, and it's story based as well. So that's impressive in the fact that they always come up with a new story and stuff. But
I
yeah,
think Sony.
understand.
I think Sony had a better strategy this time around when it came to their racing game, because I think Forza with the same business model as a Drive Club would be doing 10 times better right now. And I get what they were doing with Forza Horizon. Like, I get it, but it don't work. It has to be built into the ecosystem of Xbox Live. They tried to do something like that with the Forza Horizon with car clubs and all these different things, like, but it's not really fully integrated into the Xbox Live experience. And I think that they should have took the same business model they had with Killer Instinct and applied that to the Forza title and kept it moving. That's just my opinion. I'm not a racing game fan. Let me put that out there because I know a lot of people will come at my neck, but that's just my opinion. You know what I mean? Like, I would be more interested in the Forza title, and I think the Forza title would have way more Xbox Live activity if it had a model like Killer Instinct. That's just me.
Yeah. I like to make a quick comment about that, and then I'm gonna let JJ go. I do know a lot of people when they did announce Forza 6, they were still playing Forza Horizon 2, and they said that they had no intent to hurry up and get Forza 6 because they still were enjoying Horizon 2. So I know that both games are different. One is open world, and then the other one is just the regular racing simulator on tracks. I do think they could have benefited of having Forza Horizon 2. I mean, I personally like Horizon 2 more than Forza 6. I'd said that in the review as well. But, yeah, it probably could have waited on 6 a little bit longer. But we'll see. You had a comment to make, JJ, regarding NPDs?
I guess, 'cause we covered a couple different things, pretty much talking about this. Number one, as far as racing games are concerned, I really almost have no opinion because I don't spend a lot of time racing games. I will say, though, that since we mentioned Drive Club, I find it funny and a little bit interesting and needs a little bit more observance that game had a really kind of crappy launch and a lot of the stuff around it and surrounding it was pretty bad. I mean, the PlayStation Plus version of that game didn't work for the longest, and the game still sold. Like, back then, like, if you would have asked me about it like a couple months ago, I would have said that studio's done after how crazy that that whole launch was handled. But it ended up selling significantly, or at least selling well enough. at some point. But other than that, I really have no opinions on racing games and such. As far as the NPD numbers, I think that, a couple of the ones that are on there are not really surprising. And, again, I really have no opinion on any sort of sports games and such. To go to Cap's comments, though, about like the annualization of certain franchises, particularly Assassin's Creed, I kind of echo those a little bit. I kind of understand where he's coming from, and I feel a little bit similar, because what really gets me annoyed, though, especially with a lot of franchises that are starting to get annualized, is how a lot of these releases, annualized or not, are starting to be released incomplete, are being like put out there on the market for people to buy, but they don't feel complete in some sort of fashion. Like we get patches that are huge. We get game modes like with Halo. Like you mentioned Halo before with was it our review going up? It's going to be a review in progress because there are certain game modes that aren't ready on release day. To me, that's kind of asinine, and it's kind of a little bit ridiculous. And that's something that we've kind of just gotten used to, and we've kind of accepted when we really shouldn't. We should be a little bit more vocal, not just as gamers, but as consumers. Feeling like we're getting an incomplete game or an incomplete experience on release day when we actually pay our $60. That we're made to wait for something that should already have been given to us. Now, I understand there's a whole element to it, as far as game development is concerned, with how much could be put on the disc, how much could actually be made within a significant amount of time and such. But the point is this, that when your game is ready to go, it's ready to go, and it should be complete at that time frame. Mm-hmm. The other thing also, as far as Assassin's Creed goes and Assassin's Creed Syndicate, I've looked on the net, and I've seen a couple different, sites, reviewers and different people that are part of the industry that are playing this game, and that game technically isn't all sunshine and rainbows. That game has suffered a significant amount of problems since it's actually released. It's actually released now, right? It's already on the market. It's already gone gold.
On Friday. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's already on the market and such. I've seen videos and I've heard people talk about how there's massive bugs with that game. Now again, that's another problem with games feeling like they're incomplete by the time they're released. Now I understand Gary's point when it comes to that. The Assassin's Creed franchise, it's had a lot of games over its lifespan of the franchise, and it's had a lot of good hits while having its misses here and there and such. But I look at Assassin's Creed Syndicate and I look at not only the fact that again it's another Assassin's Creed game in the myriad of Assassin's Creed game that's come out in such a short time span, and then I see all this stuff gets going on online via social media as well as other reviews on other websites, that game's had significant problems, or at least has some sort of issues that keep popping up on a game that should be should live up to some sort of standard of quality and stuff, and it really discourages me from buying it and such. In reality, when we're just looking at this Assassin's Creed franchise in relation to everything else, I feel so burnt out with that franchise as it is that I feel like I could just skip out on this release and just wait maybe close to about a year, and I'd be totally fine picking it up when it's in bargain bin. When there's a game franchise that technically is supposed to be looked at with such a pedigree, or at least looked at with such a perspective where it should be something that's exciting, even though it's annualized and such. I don't feel that, so I feel like I'm just gonna skip out on this one. But again, that's all here and there. So as far as NPDs, I really have no opinion.
Oh no. That sounds good. A lot of great points made. I just was going to add that I know exactly what you mean about the franchises. The games constantly come out every year. I actually did not play Assassin's Creed Unity. I haven't played. The last game I played.
I have Unity, and it's not that great. Like a lot of the people, the problems that people were complaining about that was really particular to the PC version and such, there are still bugs in the console version, even after all the patches and stuff that they released up to this time and whatnot. But my point is, getting away from all that and such, you have a franchise like Assassin's Creed, you got an IP like Assassin's Creed. There's just so much of it out now that there's no general excitement for them. Now, granted, okay, Syndicate could have its awesome points, like what Gary was saying, the grapple hook and a lot of the other parts about that game that might be awesome in their own right. But for someone like me that's on the outside looking in and such, I really don't. I'm not excited about it. There's so many Assassin's Creeds that have come out that I still haven't played Assassin's Creed Chronicles China. I haven't played or finished up Assassin's Creed 4. Again, there's so many titles that are out on the market now that I don't need a new Assassin's Creed now at this moment, at least for myself.
Yeah. This is certainly true. One note I would say to Ubisoft with the Assassin's Creed games, they need to get rid of these tailing missions because every time I see those missions where you have to follow somebody around, it's like, oh, come on, it's just so annoying. But that's another topic for another day. Just to stay on this particular subject matter before we move to the next subject, I know Microsoft also made an announcement this week that they are changing the way that they report their financials. So now they will not reveal hardware sales every month. That's going to happen periodically throughout the year. And they will basically focus on Xbox Live activity, what people are playing, more so than the other hardware stuff. So you guys have any last thoughts on that?
I
No.
know the people who participate in the fanboy war are gonna like say, oh, they're just doing it because they're losing and you know all this stuff. But I think it makes business sense for what they're trying to do now. But I'm gonna let Cap go because I know he's about to say something too. So go ahead.
Oh no, man. I mean, I think it's a little bit of both, though. I'm not gonna front, man. I think it's a little bit of both. I mean, who can honestly say if Microsoft was whooping ass in hardware sales right now that they will still come to this decision? And so it's hard for me to say that Microsoft would have made this decision. But at the same time, you're right. Like the way they're going with their whole gaming brand in general, I do see why this makes more sense because a lot of people may look at it and say, well, it's stupid because, hardware sales are going to reflect in Xbox Live activity. But we don't know what their plans is for Xbox Live. Remember, they got a lot of different games coming to PC. We don't know what their plans is as far as fully know what their plans is as far as like Xbox on Windows 10. We don't know what their plans is on Xbox on Windows 10 mobile. And so they, for some reason, see that this is going to be a valuable place to measure the success of the Xbox brand. And so I wouldn't, if you're looking at it with tunnel vision, if you're looking at it just from a purely Xbox One versus PlayStation 4, point of view, then yeah, you would say like it's stupid. But if you're looking at it from an internal corporate point of view, it makes more sense for them, especially for stocks, and showing that they're making a good decision by making their Xbox brand more of a software service than anything. But at the same time, it's still hard for me to say that they wouldn't announce this if they weren't losing in sales. So I can't get away from that.
All right. I will say something very quickly about this. I think all those points are valid. I also think that, Sony is not exactly revealing how many consoles they have sold either. So really, I don't think it really makes a difference if they just say, because everybody's just saying, yeah, when they say we topped the console sales and that's it. We take that word for that. But there's never revealed actually how much they beat out Xbox One every single month. I mean, none of that information is ever revealed. So I can understand there will be some fanboys that will say Xbox is they're doing this because they're not selling consoles. Yeah, partially true, but Sony isn't exactly revealing their numbers either. So really, it is what it is. But I don't know. Yeah, I think it's good from a business standpoint to just show the activity because this lines up with the messages that Phil had before when he said that they wanted to focus on, the players, giving them good gaming experiences, not really worry about sales too heavily. So this matches up with that philosophy, I would say. Any final thoughts, JJ?
No, I'm good.
All right, we're good. Let's move on to the next topic. This is Gary's one of his most anticipated games of 2015. More than likely, he probably will not play it now, though, because you know that there's some controversy behind it. So, Rock Band 4, Gary. Harmonix acknowledged this week that some of their employees wrote reviews, positive reviews, mind you, because they're not going to write a negative review. Positive reviews about Rock Band 4 on, I believe, what was it? Was it on Amazon? There was a couple of sites they did this.
It was on Amazon specifically.
Okay, Amazon. So, any thoughts on this in particular?
Well, first of all, I'd like to say that you're ruining my street cred by saying that I'm looking forward to Rock Band. But yeah, I think I don't know, man. I mean, I don't think they're the only ones that have ever done this, but it's not in good taste to do it. Like, I mean, if you're creating a product, like if us, the Koalition, we make our own game, we put it out, and then we write reviews on it, like, and people know that. I mean, it's not a good look for your brand, to know that you wrote those reviews. But I just don't feel like they're the only ones that do it. I mean, it's a system that's so easy to manipulate anyway. So I don't think it's that big a deal as people are making it out to be. But at the same time, it's not a good look. So I don't know how to feel. I'm a bit indifferent about the whole thing.
Well, let me make a quick comment. What you said, it is a bad look for the brand. But listen, Gary, we have done this as well. Because we wrote a review for Gears of War Ultimate Edition, and that was made by the Koalition. So yes, we have broken code as well.
Yo, let me jump in here with a few comments, man. This is nothing new, man. Like, these dudes just got, I don't know if they got caught. I don't know. Like, maybe that's, I don't know the full story behind it, and what maybe getting caught forced them to admit to it. But you're crazy if you don't.
Afterwards when you
yeah. Okay. Cool. But I think that personally, like, this is crazy because they just only like this is uncontroversial to me because I feel like every company does this shit. You just don't know it. And even when Reddit first started, they used to have people. They used to create fake accounts and act like different people having conversations. Like, this is what happens. Like, this is openly talked about in his book, one of the co-founders of Reddit. Like, companies do this shit. They fake their users, they fake reviews because they know that the beginning is where it counts. That's what's going to get more people on board. Am I co-signing this? No, I'm just saying that it's nothing new. And so it's sad that they got caught doing it, oh well. And honestly, Rock Band 4, I think that ship has sailed.
Uh-oh.
Well, basically, the way they got caught was that because they're Amazon reviews and such, people were able to cross-reference the usernames that were connected to the real names of the people that were on there to the LinkedIn accounts of the Harmonix employees. That's how they found out that they worked at Harmonix, which is funny in of itself because at least companies that do this, even though everybody knows companies do this, but most companies will actually make other accounts from scratch, proxy accounts in order to put the reviews on there like that. It just so happens that Harmonix just happened to get their hand caught in the cookie jar. I mean, it's not a huge deal. It's just more humorous than anything else. Some people will make it a big deal, and that's their prerogative or whatever. But it is what it is. If really Harmonix had a lot of faith in themselves, then obviously, like any other company, they wouldn't do it. That goes without saying. But most companies do that anyway. It's like the same way of a content creator liking their own videos, just to show that they have a couple likes on there. But most people do it, or if anybody does it, it's just that it's not something that obviously anybody would openly admit. So they just happen to get caught, because it's the internet and things like that are much easier to find out about.
Yeah. Well, to stay with the what you said about the humorous comment, I would just like to say this, and I made this joke before, but I'm gonna have to say it again. I don't understand why they just made this, why they did this with Rock Band 4, because in my personal opinion, when I look at their competition, Guitar Hero, and the fact that it's a live action type of experience, to me, I am not interested in that at all. So I would think that Rock Band would already be the better game based on that. But again, I don't really know whether or not Guitar Hero is better. I mean, I would assume that both games, they've had their time. They're probably okay, probably decent. But in my personal opinion, I would think Rock Band is better than Guitar Hero just based on how Guitar Hero looks. But that's my opinion. I agree with pretty much everything you guys said, so I don't have anything extra to say about this topic. Yes, it is regular practice You will see this happen other times. You won't know about it, but it will happen many more times. So we'll see what comes next. So this news here, this actually is the I guess I want to say the main topic of today's show. It's not really a main topic because we have been saying this for quite a while on the show, but now Sony has confirmed what we already knew was the case, and that is that they have confirmed that they are no longer offering first-party support for the PlayStation Vita. They have said that they are shifting all their focus towards the PlayStation 4, as they should, because that's the top-selling console right now. And yeah, everything that they have done up until this point is exactly that, because we go back to Gravity Rush 2 getting announced as a PlayStation 4 title at the conference they had several weeks ago. So what do you guys think about this now that the Sony has confirmed this? Because I'm pretty sure there are some people that will... Go ahead.
Listen, man. I haven't been on the internet in a few days. There better be some outrage about this shit. There better be some outrage about this shit because
it's kind of just to be honest with you.
I mean, it's just this. Look, man. For the shit Sony fans have given Microsoft about first-party support and just ditching some shit to the side. No way. There's no outrage over this. Like this console has yet to reach its potential.
Mm-hmm.
Yet to reach its potential.
No, I'm saying it has plenty of potential. Like it's a good piece of hardware. It's awesome. I own a Vita. I've had two of them, but why not? I love my PlayStation Vita. It's just that Sony just doesn't want to develop games for it. It doesn't want to put the first-party studios to develop good games for it, like it has on the system already. We get a lot of third-party like imported titles or titles that get kind of localized from like Japan and Europe and such that are still good titles, that are still good games, but can't utilize the power of the hardware like what a first-party title from Sony.
So you're pretty much getting like bleach ports and shit like that. Basically.
No, we're getting a lot of Japanese games and such, and we're getting a lot of like offhanded types of games. Like we've gotten some awesome games. Don't get me wrong. Like a couple of them I reviewed for the site. Some fighters, a couple of Japanese RPGs and such, and obviously indies. But obviously a lot of people that are really like hardcore Sony fans, that are devoted Sony fans and such, still want those games like Killzone. Killzone Mercenary, Uncharted Golden Abyss. We still want titles like that. Like there are still titles that were promised a long time ago that were just never delivered. Like what happened to the Infamous title that was supposedly supposed to be for PlayStation Vita? What happened to titles like that?
I believe that's
all that money. Look. All that money went into the PlayStation Theater in Times Square.
Or PlayStation VR.
That's where it went. Because I was in Times Square yesterday, and I'm like, what a big piece of fucking waste.
I didn't get to see that when I was in New York. I wanted to go see it just to see what it was like, but I never got to visit.
I was like, what the fuck is this? Like, so that's where your Vita money went, man.
Wait,
to Times Square.
What was that in Times Square?
It's a theater that just got rebranded PlayStation Theater. It used to be another theater under another name.
It used to be the Best Buy Theater, and now it's the PlayStation Theater.
It's in New York.
Yep, it's in Times Square. In Times Square.
Wait until E3 goes around. Or PlayStation Experience. Like they'll probably do something with that during PlayStation Experience or E3 to show off like the conference and stuff. But there's not really going to be much with that.
Interesting.
That's your Vita money. Every time so if you're in New York City and you're listening to this and you're a PlayStation Vita fan, every time you walk or drive past Times Square and you want to know where your first party budgets went for the Vita, go look at the PlayStation Theater. You know exactly where it went. Here's
the thing though, it's kind of not surprising because Sony has been kind of like passive aggressive a little bit about the Vita for a long time now. At this point, for like the last couple of years, since Vita has really kind of been out. I mean, again, there just is almost no desire from them to make any sort of games because either one, a lot of people just don't have it or whatnot, or two, they've really just been focusing not only on PlayStation 4 but also really trying to really prepare themselves for PlayStation VR, or at least try to offer people a bunch of incentive because that's what they're trying. That's their latest thing right now. and such. You know, PlayStation Vita has still kind of survived because it still has that niche audience of people that own the system, but they buy a lot of games. Like if you go look at some of the numbers for the various titles that are on or available for PlayStation Vita and such, they're pretty damn good.
Okay, you know what? I do have a question I would like to pose, but before I ask that question, Gary, did you have a thought on the this particular announcement regarding the Vita?
Yeah, it's a disappointment, man. It's like tons of wasted potential, and I think what it comes down to is it's a shift in focus. Like I think when the
Yes.
Vita first came out, you know, they wanted to compete on the handheld market with 3DS and everything, and you know, we were still in the PS3 era during that time, so it made a great like addition to what they were already offering. But now, you know, we're in the next generation, and PS4 is a success, and they want to maintain that success, so they're just putting all their focus into the PS4 and these other things that they're doing with it within that platform. So they just don't have the time of day for VR, and plus it hasn't done the numbers that they want it to do, even though they don't realize it's because there's no software there. But
Well, they should realize that.
I think they realize it. They just care or whatnot, or again, their focus has really been on like PlayStation VR and PlayStation 4. That's what I really think it's been.
So here's my question now, because you brought up PlayStation VR. This is going to be another peripheral device that you will now use with the PlayStation 4. So
yeah, why would I have faith in that?
exactly.
You know, looking at what they're doing with Vita, yeah. Like, why would I have faith?
Exactly.
Let's not forget about the other one, PlayStation Go.
PlayStation Eye. PlayStation Eye is another one. Don't forget. But here's the thing. I've used a couple VR systems before. Like, not too long ago, I was actually able to use the Samsung Gear, was it Samsung VR Gear or Gear VR or something? The one for the mobile phones, for the Samsung devices and such. And VR is a cool concept and such. But here's the problem that Sony's going to run into, especially for PlayStation VR. Number one, it costs just as much as a PlayStation 4, and you need a PlayStation 4 to use it, which is kind of asinine when you really think about it and such. But two, the type of software that they're offering, I don't think not only is one not going to take advantage of that type of technology, or it's still in its infancy, so it's not going to offer the type of experience that's really going to justify spending that money like that. Because if you look at the lineup of PlayStation VR compatible games, I mean, you got stuff like Five Nights at Freddy's, you know, Final Fantasy 14, Adrift, and a few others, which is all fine and dandy and such. But those aren't going to be experiences that are really going to sell the console like that, or is really going to take it to such a level that's going to get the industry to move and kind of like shift momentum towards VR type of gaming. I mean, granted, we have devices out now. Again, we have that, we have the Oculus Rift and such, and then we have all these other devices here and there. But I don't really see it as something that's really going to catch on with a lot of people. It's really going to be for those few guys that are like the hardcore Sony devotees.
Look, man. Look. I'm gonna just be real, man. This shit is a gimmick. Like VR.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
VR is a motherfucking gimmick. Remember when 3D TVs was in? Now, remember that was the big thing. Everybody had to be on that. 3D this, 3D that. You know, I think even PlayStation had dropped the 3D TV at one time. I don't know if it was a 3D TV or not.
They had a PlayStation branded one and such. But going off your point though, Kat, is that I remember at E3 that when I was there this year, that when they had the actual screen kind of like open up and it looked like a Project Morpheus or a PlayStation VR like headset. Mm-hmm. Like there was a thing there where I feel like not only did they not spend a lot of time on PlayStation VR there at E3, which only shows that like again, either they're not ready to talk about a bunch of stuff, or again they've had probably like the same sentiments of like what you're feeling.
Like they need to basically say, okay, we made a mistake with the Vita. Obviously they feel that way. They feel regret with that, right? Obviously, and so they need to think long and hard before they release this VR shit.
I think it's just that, you know, again, there really doesn't seem like there's a lot of emphasis on software that's developed specifically for PlayStation VR. Like that, like you're gonna have your games like Horizon apparently is gonna be VR compatible or PlayStation VR compatible, and such. You're gonna get games like that, but there isn't gonna be games that are gonna be like, okay, this is why you play on a PlayStation VR system. This is why you have to buy this.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly think they should probably scrap that project. That's just my opinion. Like, I don't know. Like, I just feel like Oculus is his own thing, and like people hopped on the wave way too fast before Oculus was even able to prove itself as a viable commercial product. And so usually people, when they jump on waves, they first want to see if it's viable. So like if McDonald's come out with a new kind of French fry, Burger King will see what the sales are first and then decide if they want to copy that French fry or whatever. And so, a bad example, but fucking I'm hungry. But
no, but I get your point though.
Yeah, like Sony didn't wait until the Oculus was even viable. Yeah, a few developer kits got sold, and but that doesn't mean shit, like in a grand scheme of things, right? And so,
and it's their habit of doing it, because keep in mind again, PlayStation Vita, PlayStation Eye, the Move, all these different types of technology, where Sony will make like a pseudo big deal about it for a short amount of time, and then just kind of like let it fade away. And just not take advantage of it. Like again, there's a lot of potential to kind of bring it back to Vita. There's a lot of potential for Vita because it's a powerful piece of hardware, and you could develop great games on there. Again, look at Killzone Mercenary. You can see how powerful that type of system can be, and you go to how good the games can look. Again, look at Uncharted Golden Abyss or any types of like really gameplay intensive types of games that are on that system. It's just that again, there's just no enthusiasm for it.
They should just sell all the technology to Nintendo. For the Vita. Sell all that shit. No, seriously. I know it's funny, but I'm being so dead serious right now. Like, sell that whole everything inside the Vita to Nintendo, and let them have a crack at it. As far as like creating, the new DS, whatever, So.
Well, apparently the next the NX for Nintendo is supposed to be a hybrid between console and mobile. So, who knows?
Nintendo need to quit with the Never mind.
Go in. No, go in.
Nah. I'm straight. I'm eager to see what the NX look like. That's it. That's all I'll say. That's all I will say. I'm not saying nothing.
Yeah, E3 2016.
This year. I mean, this coming year.
Yeah.
I heard the dev kits got sent out already, and so. I mean, do we know anything about the specs as far as like
nothing?
Nothing.
It's supposed to be more powerful than the PS4.
There's nothing about it. Like the only thing is rumors and speculation, and Nintendo's not talking. They said officially they'll talk about it at E3. That's when they're
the Switch just say it's more powerful than a PS1.
No,
no,
PS4 and Xbox One.
Oh, okay.
No, he said the rumor is that it's supposed to be more powerful than a PS4 and Xbox One, but that's nonsense. There's nothing right now that's officially known about that system.
What would that do for Nintendo? Like, what does that do for Nintendo being more powerful? Like, I don't understand what it does for them. Like,
do anything. I mean, because right now, technically, they're supposed to be on par with the Wii U, which they're not, clearly. And even then, like, you do that, and then, okay, that lasts a couple years, and then finally, eventually, PS5 and whatever the next Xbox would come out, and it's obviously more powerful, and then you're at the same position you're at again. What I think really with NX, again, even though we're kind of going off subject, NX is really going to kind of change the way, or at least have a different approach to blending that mobile market, which Nintendo has such a good grasp on, and the console market, trying to integrate it into that. But again, a lot of it is all speculation at this point. That's the thing.
Dangerous, bro.
But that's my point, though. It's all speculation. It's all hearsay, and it's all imagination at this point. Until Nintendo finally comes out and shows us what it is that they're doing, or what.
Oh, we gotta hear about it. Like, it's too. Look, we live in the age of Twitter, social media. We live in an age where, look, somebody wants to be the person, even if they don't want full credit and want to hide behind an alias. Somebody's gonna leak something. Something's gonna come out. So, and I can almost guarantee something's gonna come out before this year is over.
You're right.
Yeah. Well,
but at the same time, if I was to go off the rumor that with the whole mobile and console connection hybrid. Whew, that's so dangerous, yeah.
It's dangerous, but I do think it can be successful. Just because.
Wait, hold on, Derek.
Because, like, if it replaces the 3DS, so like all the stuff that's gonna be released on their handheld comes out on NX, then I feel like it will be a successful handheld device. Now, on the console side of things, I don't know how that's going to play out. But
It's not going to replace NX though. Again, like the way they explained it at their DNA conference and such, without really getting into NX itself, they said that all these devices, 3DS, DS, Wii U, Wii, they're all going to be part of the same ecosystem, kind of like how Sony has it with PlayStation.
Yeah,
3
and that's dangerous.
and
That's
PlayStation
dangerous.
4. So it's not going to replace it. It's going to be its own entity and such. But again, a lot of it is all just speculation. We know nothing about what that system is going to be. It's all about just people thinking about what it's going to be at this point. So
it's fun. It's fun to speculate, man. It's fun to speculate.
But until really Nintendo talks again, we really have no idea what it's going to be at this point. We have no idea what it's going to be.
Good luck, man. I for one want to see, look, Nintendo knows they have to do something serious. I mean, because look, their competitor is more than just Microsoft and Xbox now. We know that, right? And so their competitor, they're now competing with Apple. Where Apple TV is basically a fucking Nintendo Wii competitor now. Like, that's ridiculous. So they had to make a new.
No, you know what's even more crazy with that? Going off of that, all their games are going to be available on iOS devices, or at least some of their IPs are going to be available on iOS devices.
Wait, that's part of the rumor?
No, that's not part of it. That's confirmed. That was announced a couple of months ago. Like that some
every
of the
game on the NX is going to be part of iOS.
No, some of their IPs, like their classic catalog, is going to be available on iOS devices. So like classic Mario games, classic like Metroid, etc. like that. So their IPs will be appearing on like iOS devices.
That's something a lot of people have been saying.
I mean, it's smart. It's smart. I mean, like, Super Mario World on a fucking iPhone, that would be crack, man. People, that would be crack, they'll make so much money off of that, it ain't even funny. And so it's almost surprising they haven't done it yet. I mean, with all the money that is being made right now off of microtransactions, especially on mobile games, I think it's a no-brainer, man. So good luck for that. I think Mario Tennis will be a great iOS game.
Yeah, Mario Tennis. By the way, Gary, I was surprised with your comment. You were supposed to say, it doesn't matter if the NX is more powerful than the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One because PC is the most powerful over everything else.
We already know this. Everyone just like, people just don't want to believe it, but they all know it in the back of their minds. So, yeah.
I mean, everybody's saying how PC. Look, I don't want to make this thing go long, man. We got some good topics here, but everybody keeps saying PC. Even me. I can even probably rewind the clock a little bit and catch myself saying, "Yo, the PC looks like it's getting more mainstream." But it seemed like that kind of flatlined a little bit, yeah. I don't know. I really don't see it be, because it looked like for a minute, it looked like PC was starting to become a little bit more mainstream. Like, I don't know. Like, maybe I'm just in a bubble. Remember, I ain't been in the loop in a minute. So maybe it's me. I don't know.
I mean, you might be right in some regard, but I also feel like the PC doesn't need to be totally mainstream because it's always going to have its core supporters anyway. And that's enough to feed Valve and all the publishers in itself. So
here's the thing. I think PC doesn't need to be mainstream, but I think for Microsoft it does.
Yeah.
And so
Microsoft.
I think what we're talking about right now, when we just talked about the NPDs and how they're restructuring their whole shit up to report live activity, that's sort of like them saying, "Yo, we want to compete with Steam now." In a little subtle way. You think about it, right? And so I think it needs to be mainstream for them, personally. And maybe they have the same projection that I was having. I don't know. But hopefully they do something to help. And then maybe that's why they're bringing some of their titles to PC that are, highly rated AAA titles and stuff like that.
And I'm glad you brought that up.
Yes. I know what you're going to say. Go ahead. Take it.
There was a rumor. Well, I don't know if it is a rumor, but somebody apparently at Microsoft who worked on Halo said there's a great possibility that you'll see Halo 5 on PC. So,
and don't be surprised if it comes with a mandatory Xbox Live, type of software launcher or something like that. And so I wouldn't be surprised if you had to use like the Xbox service to play Halo on Windows 10. I would not be surprised.
I got no problems with that as long as they don't try and charge me Xbox Live, and I'm sure they won't because PC gamers boycotted it before. So, as long as there's no fee for playing Xbox Live, I'm good with that.
And this is why PC gamers, and I'm not attacking you. I'm not attacking you. This is why PC gamers are spoiled bitches, man. Because this shit annoys the fuck out of me, man. Like, yo, you get Xbox Live for free, but yet you still complain that they want to use Xbox Live to play to like people are complaining if you drop Halo or if you drop this game, it better be on Steam. Like it better be on Steam. Microsoft, how dare you use your own service to make me play a game? How dare you? You know what I mean? Like, how stupid is that, man? Like, especially if you get an Xbox Live for free. That trade-off is more than, like, to me, I feel like that's a fair trade-off. Hey, we give you Xbox Live for free. You just have to use Xbox Live to play our games. I think that's a fair trade-off, yo. Like, personally.
Yeah, it's fair. That's a fair trade-off. I think what it is that like Valve has just become so synonymous with the PC that there's literally gamers that just won't play anything unless it's part of Steam. So, there's people who still don't like EA Origin. What's the Ubisoft Uplay that gets shit.
Then they can't call themselves true PC gamers. They can't call themselves true PC gamers then, because how are you up here lobbying? So that means you're a Valve gamer. Don't call yourself a PC gamer. Call yourself a Steam gamer. You know what I mean? Because that's what you are. You're lobbying for a platform, just like people who lobby for PlayStation and just like people who lobby for Xbox. You're lobbying for Steam. Don't call yourself a PC gamer. You're a Steam gamer.
Yeah, and speaking of Steam as well, they're missing the opportunity here because Steam Machine could have been so big, but I just don't know what's going on with it right now. Like, has there been any news on it, any updates? Because they missed out on a big opportunity there. People were legit excited for the Steam Machines, and now we're not hearing anything. I know they're releasing the Steam controller, and I want to actually try that out. But what's up with the Steam Machines, man?
Well. You wanna know what's up with Steam Machines?
What's that?
This would be the final thing that I say. The Steam Machines are being sold at GameStop.
What?
That's what's up with the Steam Machines. Yes, they're going to be sold at GameStop. There's probably some that are available now because I'm looking at the link right now. The accessories, the controller, and some of and of course a lot of the stuff that you need for the actual machine, all being sold at GameStop. So that's interesting.
That's confirmed?
It is confirmed because I'm looking at the GameStop page right now that shows a whole stuff on Steam Machine stuff that you could buy, including the systems.
So, like, it's an exclusive thing with GameStop?
I'm not sure if this is exclusive. Perhaps for the moment it is. I don't know, man. I need to do some more research on this.
Yeah, I mean, it just seems like Steam Machine should have been a much bigger deal, especially with, what Kat was saying earlier about PC getting more mainstream. Steam Machine could have kind of spearheaded that whole wave and, made it more attractive to the casual gamer, like people who only focus on consoles at the moment. Like, they could have really taken that charge and converted those gamers to PC.
Yeah.
But now it seems like that's what Microsoft wants to do. So we'll see how that plays out.
Well, Microsoft made it clear that they ain't competing with Sony no more. They want to focus on making the brand better for the fans. So we'll see what they do. Yeah. No. Any final words or final thoughts on any topics that we discussed or probably did not touch upon?
No. What about you guys?
No, I'm good.
Good, man. Good, man. It's just It's gonna be a big fall in gaming. Excited. I'm actually gonna get some opportunities to play games. Also,
A
excited
lot of good
about
stuff coming out.
what happened.
I said there's a lot of good stuff coming out in the next
Yep.
like month or so.
Yep. I'm excited, man. 2016 looking good too. You
Mhm.
know, looking forward, man. Just looking forward. Happy.
Actually, I do have something I want to bring up. Like, JJ, do you know a lot about Pokemon Go?
Yes, I know a decent amount about Pokemon Go, yeah.
What's like the whole idea behind that anyway? Like, how?
Well, the main concept behind Pokemon Go is pretty much very similar to like how the Pokemon games were on all the Nintendo handhelds. It's just that now it's a much more AR type of like version of Pokemon where you'll be able to go to like, random locations in the United States or wherever and be able just to scan around and actually catch different Pokemon based off the geological regions of which you're located at. So, for example, you might be able to catch a certain particular type of Pokemon within a certain area where you live, and then in order to get like a different types of like groups of species of Pokemon, you might have to go to different areas as you travel around. So the concept on paper sounds pretty cool, but I think it's also that the company that's helping develop that game for mobile and such has worked on a previous game that is actually pretty good. I know I've talked about it with a couple of colleagues of mine a couple times, but again, I just want to see how it is in practice because I mean we have a couple other spin-off titles that follow that free-to-play model or that mobile model and such, and they're hit or miss depending on how you look at it.
So can you actually like battle them? Can you battle other people
Yes.
with it?
Yes, you could battle the Pokemon, you could capture them and such. I'm pretty sure you'll be able to battle other people, other trainers, quote unquote, and such. Again, we won't know until the game finally comes out exactly like what it's like in the model, especially how it is with people like as far as like using the game on their mobile phones. Like I would imagine, obviously, that most people that have a Nintendo device obviously have a mobile phone, a cellular phone that they'll probably be able to use with it. So I can imagine going to like places like the Nintendo World Store in Times Square and be able to see like how that game has a kind of like a big following amongst people that attend there.
Yeah, the reason I bring that up is because I feel like that might be the future. Like, I think we'll see, especially with handhelds and stuff and phones and stuff. I think we're going to see a lot of alternate reality type gaming like that. And I think Pokemon Go is a great concept.
It's
Um,
an ideal concept because it's Pokemon, and Pokemon has always been kind of like marketed or looked at as a portable type of franchise, something that could bring with you anywhere and such. And I really think that's probably going to be another thing that comes up again with Nintendo's partnership with DNA, and able to make like as far as like, mobile titles based off their IPs and such. But again, I really want to see how it is in practice because I know someone who's a big Pokemon content creator. Pokemon, they're called Poketubers and such that basically they make video content based on Pokemon, and they're really like looking forward to that to see how that actual game turns out.
Hmm.
cool.
Yeah, check that out. So yeah, final thoughts. Are you good?
Final thoughts. I just want to give a shout out to Ramiz because yesterday we went to London Comic Con. Um, I mean, compared to Comic Con in the US, like New York Comic Con, San Diego, the London Comic Con really isn't that great. Like nothing major happens at
Oh,
London Comic Con. There were a few panels. There was a Doctor Who panel. There was a Sherlock panel. But besides that, it's a bunch of merchants and artists selling their work and wares. There's all sorts of collectibles and stuff like that. And probably the biggest part about it is seeing all the cosplay. So, that was cool just walking through there and, checking everything out. We didn't stay there the whole day because there's really not that much to do. Like, once you walk around the area a couple times, like, you've pretty much seen everything. So, we stayed there for a few hours, but it was cool. Like, it's fun. I'm a geek, so either way, I love just going there and seeing what's going on and checking out all the artists' work and checking out books and comics and all that stuff. So I had a good time there, and I think I'm going to do a little write-up about it as well. So look out for that on the site.
Now you know how I feel sometimes down here with some of the
oh,
conventions.
oh,
What is it exactly?
No, because there's a lot of events down here that aren't on that same type of level of like a New York Comic Con or a San Diego Comic Con, but they have their little moments here and there. It really depends on where you go. I have like 50 events down here in Florida that I could choose to go to. I mean, there's a lot.
Hmm. We'll see. So, any final words or shout outs, JJ?
Just shout out to all the listeners, shout out to all the viewers and everybody that follows the content on the site, that's been reading the reviews, leaving comments and stuff, that have been sharing the stuff on social media and everything. Really appreciate it. We keep, it keeps allowing us to do what we love to do and keeps bringing you guys great content and such. So just keep coming back to the site, keep spreading the word, keep leaving comments, talk to us, hit us up on Twitter. We're always eager to talk to you guys and, respond to some of your feedback or any of your questions about any of the stuff coming on the site. So look forward to a lot of great new content, new reviews very soon, new little surprises here and there, and you guys got some great stuff coming your way. You should be excited.
Definitely. How about you, Anthony? Any plugs?
Yeah, I mean, I got the Tech 808 conference coming up, so if you're interested in that, Tech 808, hit me up, Anthony Frasier on Twitter. I'll give you a 25% discount. If you want to come, it's November 9th. But also, if anybody listening is into music production, I'm just take advantage of the opportunity here. Listen, I'm trying to buy Machine, Native Instruments Machine, the MK2. If you know any way I can get that on sale, hit me up. Peace.
Yes. Sounds good. Once again, I would like to thank everybody for watching this week's show. Thank you for the support, continuing to visit the website. As JJ said, we have quite a bit of things coming for you very soon. I actually have to get finished working on the Halo 5 review. But once again, thanks for the support. As always, if you would like to make a donation, you can click the I annotation on this video. You don't have to do that. That is completely optional. But stay tuned because we have quite a bit of the content coming for you this week. So thanks for watching. We'll talk to you guys later.
Peace.